Good afternoon and welcome to the Standing Committees meeting for Monday, April 20th, 2026. All council meetings will be live streamed on the city's website, and for guest speakers, please do not turn off your microphones. Our first order of business is roll call. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Sharland. Mr. Coghill.
Here.
Ms. Gross.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle. Mr. Mosley. Ms. Salinetro.
Here.
Mrs. Warwick.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Ms. Strasburger, Chair.
Here.
6 members present.
Thank you. Our next order of business is public comment. I would like to remind all speakers that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which are or may be before city council. Profanity will not be permitted. Please state your name and neighborhood for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller.
Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller, downtown. My email is, one of my emails is cgsii.rlm.globalintelligence@gmail.com. Primary USA teletext is 412-969-7997. Global Intelligence Society, candidate for president, 2028. Initiative 3 is particularly important to me, which is local government primacy. I consider it a privilege and also a responsibility as a citizen to do public comment. From this morning, a reference from Dr. Bennett Omalo. This is one of his books from 2008. Play Hard, Die Young. Football, Dementia, Depression, and Death. Any of you remember Tony Dorsett? I certainly do. He would never play. He says no. If he knew what would happen to his brain playing for Pitt and for the Cowboys. 3 council concerns. Concern 1, Pittsburgh City Libraries. We had a proclamation this morning about that. The CGSII primary module on 40 Belsevier Avenue possesses a library, and we have in print the papers of Albert Einstein in German and in English, presidential papers of Washington, Madison, Jefferson, and Eisenhower. No Carnegie Library extension has these papers, but we do. Concern 2, international languages. If you come into this building, you're confronted with many languages of greeting. In the public comments that I offer here, I systematically use African Hausa, Asian Nihongo, that's Japanese, South American Espanol, and European Deutsch. And I need, and will pay, for translators of all 4 for my books. Please contact me if you like, using the above contact information. One book is Global Intelligence, another Introduction to Global International Interdisciplinary Studies, and a third is Sex Gen Identity Formation. A third concern that I want to deal with at the moment is these sister cities. From South America, I mean, if you consider Cuba to be that, Matanzas needs our help. Africa, I have no idea why there is no city sister officially from a nation in Africa. In 2025, I founded and copyrighted the Pittsburgh City Ally Network, PCAN, Pittsburgh City Neighborhood Network, PCNN, and the World Neighborhood Network, WNN. We now have 100, and we include in that 100 invitations for us to receive by immigration 200 to 300,000 people.
Thank you. There being no further registered speakers, we will now take comments from those in the audience wishing to speak. Is there anyone wishing to speak?
Hello, my name is Rick Smith from North Oakland, District 8. Councilperson Warwick, thank you for the proclamation this morning recognizing Ann Belser in East End Print. To Council at large, grateful for the budget work to get the city through this year's challenges, specifically Councilperson Gross, advocacy for food and privacy, Councilperson Warwick with your fleet protection, Councilperson Strasburger for advocating for climate action and periodic budget reviews, Councilperson Coghill and colleagues for managing the cost of the comprehensive plan. From this morning's agenda item 392, it's one of 4 similar items, but I'll just speak to this one specifically. As printed, it says it's going to add 58 more vendors to the list, and then if you click on this link to get a document, it says it's going to add 12. So just a little discrepancy on how many are going to be added. But more importantly, as I read this, it looks like it's going to increase the cap as it specifies each contract is not to exceed $1.5 million, and you increase it by 58, bringing the total to $226 million. My guess is this is a capped account, but it would be good to be able to see that. Otherwise, it's sort of a jarring read. It also references item 389, which today's agenda also references Resolution 389 of 2025. Searching the city's website, I can find one 389, two 389, but I can't find Resolution 389, as I was curious as to the underlying structures of that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, we will move on to our standing committee's agenda. Our first committee is the Finance and Law Committee. New papers, Bill 361.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Joseph Nitz and their legal counsel, Gordis and Bordis, P.LLC, for a single payment in 2026 in an amount not to exceed $85,000 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Common Pleas Court of Allegheny County.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 361, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 362.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Foster and Foster for payment for professional services rendered in the Act 111 interest arbitration between the City of Pittsburgh and the Fraternal Order of Police for an amount not to exceed $17,850 over 1 year.
Motion approved.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 362, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 363.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Sergeant's Court Reporting Service for legal transcript services for an amount not to exceed $11,078.50 over 1 year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 363, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 364.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Ronald Tallarico Esquire for arbitration services for an amount not to exceed $17,726 over 1 year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 364, please say aye.
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 Affirmative recommendation. Bill 370.
Resolution further amending Resolution 840 of 2019, effective December 23rd of 2019, entitled Resolution adopting and approving the 2020 capital budget and the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2020 through 2025 Capital Improvement Program by reducing facility improvements, city facilities, by $50,000 and increasing Lower Heth's Run by $50,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you. Members, I have a amendment. I'll just do an amendment by substitution because it's got the JDE numbers on it, and I appreciate the Council Budget Office helping us. It's a technical amendment, just changing the job number. So motion to amend?
Second.
Thank you. We have a discussion on the amendment. I do have a question. I see for 370, there's two different amendments before us. For 370, I see a different JDE number, but I also see $50,000 being moved around. Is there is there someone who can speak to this? Are you able to speak to this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Kirsten, would you like to join us at the table? Thank you. Thank you. If you could just say your name and position for the record.
Kirsten Walmsley, Council Budget Director.
Thank you, Director Walmsley. And can you help us maybe go ahead and discuss, I don't know if we want to read the second amendment as well, because they're companions, but which is Bill 369. But for now, we're discussing 370, which has the JDE number in it.
Yeah, so the amendment being made here is just to the JDE number. Originally, it was a 2025 JDE number, but because it's bond money, it needs to be a 2020 job number to match the original funding source. So this is just a technical change there. The original amendment was always moving $50,000 from one project to another. Okay. So in this case, it's moving from facility improvements to the Lower Heaths Run project.
So that was always the plan. It's just yeah. Okay. All right, further discussion?
Madam Chair, would you like to read 369 since we have Kirsten here at the table?
Yes, please. So we will move down to, I believe it's a different committee. So
Public Works and Infrastructure.
I think we need to stick with one committee at a time. So let's stick with 370 and we'll take 369 when we get to that committee. So any further discussion on 370? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 370, all in favor of the amendment to 370, please say aye.
Aye.
Amendment is approved. Further discussion on amended bill? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 370 as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation, thank you. That takes us to invoices. Is there a motion on invoices?
Motion to approve.
So, second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of invoices, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Invoices are approved. It takes us to P cards. Is there a motion on P cards?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? I am pulling up a note from our budget director about P cards. And there are two notes that Budget Director Walmsley did want to make us aware of. Two different charges totaling over $5,000. There are 5 charges to Blue Pearl Pet Hospital under the Bureau of Animal Care and Control, and together they total over $6,400, but they're for separate animals and services provided. And then under DPW, there are 3 charges to Pittsburgh Tire Service. Together, they total $9,422. They are separate purchases, but it's our understanding after our budget director did some research that DPW uses this preferred vendor for tire services for heavy equipment, such as lawnmowers, backhoes. In the past, they have tried to get a vendor on contract for this, but it is difficult due to specialty items, and Public Works is currently working with procurement to once again see if these services can be brought on as a contract. So I think some due diligence has happened, and wanted to ensure that I passed along that explanation from our budget office. Any further discussion on P cards? Seeing none, all in favor of P cards, please say aye. Aye. P cards are approved. That moves us to interdepartmental transfers. Is there a motion on transfers?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of transfers, please say aye. Aye. Transfers are approved. That takes us to Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, chaired by Councilwoman Salinetro.
Supplemental new paper, Bill 388. Resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary design, final design, right-of-way, and construction phases of the Smithfield Street Reconstruction Project and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $10,126,000, an increase of $236,000 from the previous resolution, reimbursable at 80% in the municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $45,000, a $0 increase from the previous resolution 72 of 2026.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 388, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Deferred papers, Bill 300.
Resolution providing for the issuance of a warrant in favor of A. Felino Construction, Inc., in the amount of $481,320 for the purpose of emergency snow removal at various locations, and providing for the payment of the cost thereof over 1 year.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
I think I'm going to have to hold this bill again. We do have the director here in the room, and as far as I know, we have not received a detailed invoice from Felino regarding that. If he wants to come and speak to that, if something has changed.
Afternoon, John.
Do it.
Director, oh, it's afternoon.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, jeez. Were you able to get any detail from them? From
No,
Felino?
we had called them. We didn't get anything back. I did talk to John Klinger, though, that's going to reach out to the owner of the company because he deals with them a lot with the asphalt. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll hear something back this afternoon.
Okay. Can I make a motion to hold for 2 weeks? Do you think 2 weeks would be enough?
I hope so.
Okay, can we make a motion to hold for 2 weeks?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of a 2-week hold on Bill 300, please say aye.
Aye.
Bill will be held for 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
New papers, Bill 335.
Bill 335, ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances, Title I, Administrative Article 7, Procedures, Chapter 174, Right-of-Way Accessibility Needs Inventory, by updating the chapter number to 162B.
Motion to approve? I'm sorry. Sorry, no. That's okay. Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Councilmember Warwick.
This is just a slight change. Yeah.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 335, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 354.
Resolution authorizing pursuant to Chapter 210, acceptance of gifts to the city of the City Code, the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to accept a donation from Laborers District Council in the amount of $300,000 for the purchase and installation of scoreboards at fields used for youth sports in the city.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 354, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 355.
Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with Pirates Charities for the purpose of receiving grant funds in the amount of $300,000 to provide upgrades to youth baseball and softball fields.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Councilmember Warwick.
I'll call Chief Gilman up just to talk a little bit about the gift. It's good news. Yeah, so I just if you just wanted to, do a little victory lap on this gift.
It's always good to come to the table for that. Dan Gilman, Chief of Staff for the Mayor. Thank you, Councilman. Yes, this is a partnership with Pittsburgh Pirates Charities. It is about $300,000 to receive new DuraEdge material, which is the type of infield dirt mix they use at PNC Park, some home plate tarps, some portable mounds, as well as possibly some hitting pads on fences and backstops. As we see the numbers, we believe it'll be somewhere around 20 fields that will get improvement this year through this funding. And though you just voted for the bill, the laborers, $300,000 should do 10 new scoreboards at new fields this year.
I did want to ask, so, because I know McGee Field was on the list, this would not cover drainage on the infield? I know that's sort of an ongoing, or would this help with the drainage issue?
So this would involve re-laser grading the entire field. So in terms of how water drains, it will have an impact. I don't know the details of McGee. If it actually needed additional construction, this would not cover that. But this will involve full laser grading of the fields, removal of the old material and installing the new material. And the Pirates are buying a new laser grader for the city that we'll keep after through this grant.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, just anything, because it sort of puddles up and stays there for a while. Yeah.
We have significant challenges at a lot of our fields with that, and if we do this right, now that we'll have 2 laser graders, we can have 2 baseball crews, and that will allow us to actually get all of our fields on a regular laser grading rotation with the new dirt. So through a couple years of replacing the fields and then adding them to a regular rotation, now with 2 baseball field crews, we believe we can get them in much better shape.
Okay, and I assume DP, once this begins, they'll work with the coaches to make sure, I know folks are particular about their field.
Absolutely.
Their field, but, Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you, Chief. I'm not going to ask you to have all of the sites memorized, but I am hoping that we'll see some of District 7 sites as well. I'm thinking of several fields that flood frequently, like the Hess Field, which I know has been graded before, but it takes vigilance, like constant work on it.
It does, and we are finalizing the list based off assessments by professionals. But yes, I know there are multiple District 7 fields on the list already, and Hess in particular is certainly on the list.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's an issue that we've been struggling with for a long time. It's great news. Random other question that you may not have the answer to that is just occurring to me. Since we'll have 2 laser graders, you were saying, and 2 different crews. I'm wondering what else can be laser graded, if not just baseball fields. Now, again, not anything you might be willing to answer now, but there are lots of other places where we're trying to create slopes and control water flow, like certain streets, for example. I think many of us that have hillsides have struggled with the kind of grading of streets. Don't know if that's an applicability for that specific kind of equipment, but it's just a random question.
It's a good question. It is way over my knowledge level.
Right. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilman Coghill, followed by Councilman Mosley.
Well, you're coming with more donations then.
I'm trying. We got one more coming your way, I think, next week.
I'm keeping track. You're 3 or 4 times at the table with donations, so we expect it now, So now I heard you say that, so the Pirates are supplying their, we'll say dirt, but it's really crushed red brick that they use for PNC Park. And we've had that in Brookline for some time.
The mix is much better than the traditional dirt in terms of how it absorbs the water.
It almost never gets rained out. Brookline, I remember held opening day 3 years ago, and it was like pouring down rain. We were the only spot. We're sliding pads, though. I'm going to tell you that on this stuff. It's like crushed red brick, and it's really good. So Pirates are doing the laser and the infield dirt and other amenities around the facilities, and the laborers are given $300 cash.
$300,000.
Nice.
Yes, the check's already been delivered to the city.
I love the laborers. So then that's for us to use for those purposes, but
for scoreboards.
Scoreboards.
They're for scoreboards
in
specifically.
particular. Right. Okay, good. I'll have to check about the Brookline. Where me and the mayor were throwing the ball around. I know he's got a special interest in that field. So
I can tell you, I just received a preliminary list of 10 fields for the scoreboards. There was a couple things I had questions on, so it's certainly not finalized. But I can assure your district was represented on that list as well.
Good deal. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's it for me, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilman Mosley.
Always good to see Chief Gilman bearing gifts at the Wednesday table. Thank you for joining us. My question is more about kind of looking into the future, really ecstatic about these partnerships, and I think it opens up a door to more partnerships. As you know, I'm a big fan of baseball, and before running for office, I spent a lot of time coaching. Has there been any discussions looking to the future? I think the laser grading is great, as well as the crushed red brick, which as a person who's coached mini rec and AAU baseball tournaments, I know how superior that is. Particularly getting back on the field after a rain event. But my question is about Has there been any discussions, potentially with the laborers or the Pirates or any of the other gracious partners to look into like any turf infielding in some parts of the city, because that is kind of the gold standard. And obviously we know every single field in the city couldn't be turfed, but did that ever come up in the discussions?
It absolutely did. We've had a lot of meetings with Pirates, field operations team, public works, and the charities. And we made the decision, and as someone who does coach baseball as well with you, I have a game at 6 o'clock tonight, and we're going to have to be out there early raking the field from the rain, so I relate to this well. But the belief is baseball really should be played on dirt.
Right.
As to your comment of a gold standard,
Right.
There's a reason most professional baseball stadiums still are, and it is better for the environment, and it is safer on young people's bodies. Mm-hmm. That being said, last spring we got in almost no games in little leagues around the city, so it's a balancing act. We think if we put in this material, laser graded on a regular cycle, we can have infield dirt that kids can play on. If this turns out not to be enough, there's certainly an interest in some of the material that we just used at Homewood Field for football to try that on some infields in the city. Mm-hmm. But we're going to try this in year one and see where it goes.
I appreciate that. And I would also, encourage you and the mayor to also continue conversations with the Pirates. I do think, Pittsburgh would be a great location for Major League Baseball's next Urban Youth Academy. Just given the rich history of baseball in this city, whether it was the Pirates, the Crawfords, the Grays, our city just has a rich urban, baseball history. Going back to the 19th centuries, and New Orleans has one, Compton has one. And I think at some point, and it's not necessarily the most important thing we're going to talk about at the table today. But as we develop these partnerships and the Pirates, in many ways show their commitment to the city. I still got to give Councilwoman Kell Smith props for that meeting she called in December. Like after that meeting, everything's changed. They're signing rookies to 10-year contracts, and so Councilwoman Kell Smith, kudos. She should throw out her first pitch at some point this season. But I do think that baseball is just so important to the fabric of this city, and I think it would be important to make that investment. Not for the sake of baseball, but for the sake of young people. There's nothing like, as being at a youth baseball game. Baseball is just such a unique sport in the way, requires teamwork in a way that, like all the other sports, whether you're playing hockey, football, or baseball, at some point one player can just take the ball and dominate the game. Where baseball is a game that requires teamwork and, folks, to work together. So just given the rich history of black baseball, and even, few people know about the story of the great Barney Dreyfus, who built Forbes Field and was very integral with Rodef Shalom, who was a Jewish German brother that came over and fell in love with the game of baseball and invented modern baseball stadiums. A lot of people forget that Forbes Field was the first modern stadium in the entire world built with steel and concrete. So, whether it's the African-American community, the Jewish community, or the community at large, we have a rich baseball tradition here in Pittsburgh. And the more we invest in it, I think the more that we give that, rich tradition and pass it on to the next generation.
And I will say, obviously the Pirates' money is 100% going towards our baseball, and to be very clear, softball included in that. The labor's money for scoreboards will mostly go to that, but probably not entirely. For instance, and again, don't hold me to this as we're finalizing, but I think we'll probably be doing Chadwick scoreboard there in your district, Councilman. And already, Homewood Field is done. Fort Pitt is well underway. The planning for Corey for the Southside Bears, is in that master plan, and moving forward. Kennard in the Hill, the Northside Field. Councilman, right behind Pittsburgh Project.
Pleasant Valley. Isn't that
Fowler, thank you. I kept on saying Fowler. That planning is already going. So it is heavy investment also in our youth football programs, working on some basketball court improvements as well. All of these programs are part of the mayor's agenda to make Pittsburgh every family's first choice. And to your comment about whether or not it's the most important thing on the agenda, there's a lot of important things, so I don't want to suggest that. But we see this as absolutely critical to how we keep families in the city and providing the power of sports and community building through our fields and our recreation centers as absolutely paramount in the work that we do.
Yeah. Thank you for bearing gifts once again, Chief Gilman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilmember Warwick.
Just quickly, if the Pirates are listening, we really do, and I know this is like a longer term conversation, but we really do for baseball and, and probably other sports, but, an indoor facility. It's the one sport where, basketball, there's plenty of opportunity to play inside. Soccer, you play in the rain. Football, you play in whatever weather, but baseball, and the reality is that, our teams are driving 30, 40 minutes to Bianco and Cannonsburg, and, we should have a state-of-the-art facility like that here in Pittsburgh, so.
Fully agree, and I can say we have had meetings with a number of investors interested in a few sites, with Hardball, with the Pirates charities, about some of those opportunities, so I don't know what the timeline or where for sure, but I think everybody agrees there's a great need, that there's a lot of traveling to the suburbs for this, and we need it in the city.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 355, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation.
Thank you,
Very much.
Council.
Bill 356.
Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Public Works to apply for grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Conservation Partnership Program to provide funding for the Emerald View Park Tree Implementation Project. The grant proposal includes an ask not to exceed $250,000, with the match not to exceed $250,000 from the City of Pittsburgh's capital budget for a total project cost not to exceed $500,000 for this stated purpose.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 356, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation, Bill 357.
Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to apply for grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Conservation Partnership Program to provide funding for a repaving a portion of the Three Rivers Heritage Trail. The grant proposal includes an ask not to exceed $250,000 with a match not to exceed $250,000 from the City of Pittsburgh's capital budget for a total project cost not to exceed $500,000 for this stated purpose.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 357, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation, Bill 358.
Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Public Works to apply for grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Conservation Partnerships Program to provide funding for the renovation of Fort Pitt Park. The grant proposal includes an ask of $500,000 with a match not to exceed $500,000 from the City of Pittsburgh's capital budget for a total project cost not to exceed $1 million for this stated purpose.
Motion to approve? Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 358, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation, Bill 359.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with the University of Pittsburgh for the purpose of receiving grant funds in an amount not to exceed $5 million to be used for parks, capital improvements, URA Main Street programs, public safety facilities, equipment, fleet, or special initiatives.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Councilmember Warwick.
I just want to, this is great news, and I do want to give a shout out to Pitt here for, providing flexibility with these funds, because that's important, right? That's sort of giving us the leeway to use these funds as needed, in various areas around the city. I don't know if there's some restrictions, there may be, that's fine, but this sounds fairly broad as far as what this money can be used for. So that's all.
Fleet.
Further discussion?
Yeah.
I do have some questions. I don't know who the right person is to speak to this. Thank you, Acting Director. and you might be the right person for this, so please introduce yourself, and then I'll just ask my quick question.
My name is Rhea Price. I'm the current acting director of the Office of Management and Budget.
Thank you. So, I mean, I do see flexibility, and that is great. And I see it's not an and, it's an or, right? So that implies any one of these. Do we know, has there been discussion that you're aware of as to how the decision will be made to apply what
No,
what
we've not
funds
had
where?
those discussions
It
yet.
just has not happened.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so what happens to this money after this?
So we've set up a job in the Grants Trust Fund to receive these funds. And once we decide what we're going to use those these grants funds for, we'll either pay for those items directly out of that job number or perhaps reimburse departments for expenses.
And will any of that touch council before it's spent, or is this the one time that we're sort of interacting with this funding? Or does it depend?
Right. So I don't believe we would have to, we would technically have to go back to council for that. But I mean, if you would request some expenditure reports for this, we would gladly provide that.
Yeah. I think that would be helpful. I think that there is public scrutiny of funding that we're receiving, and it would be helpful to get further clarity. I think one comment I saw again and again was great, and it's very vague. So it would be helpful, I think, to understand for our purposes and for our purposes and talking to the public and being able to speak to these great contributions that that we know exactly where they're going, what they're being used for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Further discussion? Councilwoman Gross.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, for raising that issue. We have many trust funds at the city, and very often we draw the distinction between a trust fund. I always not beat up, but use as like a really good example, the Mellon Park Tennis Bubble Trust Fund, right? We don't need to see every appropriation out of that one. That doesn't need a separate resolution, right? It's a little bit of money that comes in from the fees for using the tennis bubble, and if there's a patch that's needed, that money's there, or just for ongoing operations. It's a small, very defined amount of money. But when we have a large pot, especially one that is completely undefined, the trust fund should be structured so that you cannot just write checks out of it. That's what council's weekly agendas are for. That's why we have agendas 49 weeks a year, so that we can see the decision making, the public can see the decision making for large appropriations. So I don't want to hold up a grant, that's for sure, but if we need to amend the trust fund that it's going into to require that these decisions come before the public first, then that's, I think, something that council should take up. But I'm definitely supportive of receiving the funds. But I think the public deserves to be including knowing how they're being expended, and before the fact and not just after the fact. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Charland.
I saw Chief Gilman walk in here. I think he probably has a couple things he wants to say.
Thank you. My apologies. I thought this was on next week's agenda. I wouldn't have left. My fault. I apologize. I missed some, but just to be clear, as the person working with the university, the intent is, number one, that every year we'll work with the university on a proposal within the categories, and then include it in the budget that would come to council as part of the annual budget too. So when the budget comes forward, I'm making it up, but if we were going to spend all $1 million on, fixing Brookline Memorial Park, it would Brookline Memorial Park, $1 million under the other category for grants, and highlighting that was coming out of the donation from the university, whether it was public safety, main and main, or park. So we certainly want to be fully transparent with council and with the public on where these dollars go going forward.
So it'd be the university that determine or works with you?
No, certainly it's the power. I mean, this money is donated with no strings attached or control over where it goes. Given it is their donations, we'd seek thoughts and input from the university, but ultimately it would be what the mayor proposed in the budget and what council authorized through the budget process that would decide it, not, a directive from the university.
Do we see this being more capital expenses or operational expenses?
Capital or programmatic, not positions and ongoing, but it could be programmatic, particularly potentially within public safety, you could see it being programmatic for a special program.
Okay. Yeah, I guess obviously when this announcement happened, everyone starts reaching out and it's like, oh, can we get this money? Can we get this money? It will be very helpful to be able to say we're using it on X, and this is why we're using it for that. I know we want to, increase your basketball hours or whatever, but we're actually using it to do this, and that is be able to give us a justification to explain to other folks that are now excited about this money where it would go. So coming to us as early as possible, I think would be helpful with this money.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilman Coghill.
Did I just hear you commit $1 million to Brookline Memorial Park? Is that right?
I said Southside Park. You misheard me.
No, that's it, Madam Chair.
Seeing no further discussion, we will take a vote. All those in favor of Bill 359, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Thank you.
This
Bill
really is the last gift I have.
360.
Resolution providing for an agreement or agreements with Johnson, Murmurin, and Thompson, Inc. for costs associated with construction, inspection, and contract administration for the RAISE grant project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $1,116,034.87, reimbursable at 80%.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 360, please say aye. Aye. Affirmative recommendation, Bill 369.
Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Public Works to apply for grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Conservation Partnerships Program to provide funding for the Allegheny Riverfront Trail Connectivity Planning Project. The grant proposal includes an ask not to exceed $50,000 with a match not to exceed $50,000 from the City of Pittsburgh capital budget for a total project cost not to exceed $100,000 for this stated purpose.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing.
Is this 369?
This is, yeah.
So this is the companion amendments that has the updated JDE number in the text. Motion to amend?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of amending Bill 369, please say aye.
Aye.
Amendment is approved. Further discussion on bill as amended? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 369 as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Human Resources Committee, chaired by Councilperson Charlin.
Bill 347, resolution providing the authorization to make all legitimate expenditures for payments and agreements or agreements with various agencies to provide job development and employment services, wages, and fringe benefits for supervisor, staff workers' compensation, unemployment compensation, vocational skills training, and on-the-job training, outreach, recruitment costs, and administrative expenditures necessary to implement the 2025 Pittsburgh Partnership Employment Program, and providing the periodic transfer of funds to be used in the 2025 Pittsburgh Partnership Employment Program and for payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $320,000.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 347, please say aye.
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 Affirmative recommendation, Bill 348.
Resolution providing for the filing of applications by the Commonwealth of PA Department of Human Services for grants in connection with the Joint Jobs Initiative Program Employment Advancement and Retention Network, and providing for the authorization to enter into agreements with various agencies and to pay for expenditures for costs to support, implement, and administer the program. Cost not to exceed $3,828,594.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 348, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to Land Use and Economic Development Committee, chaired by Councilman Wilson.
Deferred papers, Bill 320, resolution further amending Resolution 863 of 2018, effective January 1, 2019, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2019 Capital Budget and the 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2019 through 2024 Capital Improvement Program by reducing facility improvements, recreation, and senior centers by $400,000 and increasing remediation of condemned buildings by $400,000.
Motion approved.
Second, discussion.
Discussion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I've been going back and forth. This is the bill that council held for me last week. It was only 5 days since we're going from a Wednesday to a Monday. But it did give me a little bit of time to work with my staff, to work with the council budget office, to kind of have a little bit of communication back and forth with the administration. So I don't have an amendment today. I had really hoped that I'd be able to find funds to actually, put back into Bloomfield, because just again, to be clear, this is removing all of the funding for the facility improvements. There is, from this budget line, there is a current contract to do assessment of the building in a plan that is moving forward. The administration is got an engineering company under contract that is a separate budget line for about $150,000 or so. But these funds, it's going to be a big project, so we're going to need funds to stabilize this building. So I have many requests from the neighborhood to kind of put money back. We're still looking for it. But again, it's just so everyone understands, right? This money is expiring. The federal government will take it back. So this move today does put it into projects in other neighborhoods, not in Bloomfield, not in District 7, that are shovel ready, kind of ready to go. But we're going to be working with the administration to put funds back into Bloomfield Park and into Bloomfield to replace these funds. So I know it's a cause of stress for my community organizations and residents. I got emails over the weekend about I just want to acknowledge the love and appreciation that the public, not just District 7 residents, have for Bloomfield Park. Again, the second highest kind of pool attendance that we have in the city. It's a really, really busy park. So we want to make sure that it's getting the resources that it deserves to serve so many residents from so many districts. So we'll stay tuned. We'll be working on it. So apologies to my colleagues. I can't in good conscience vote yes on this one, but I do understand the urgency of moving expiring federal funds.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 320, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes, abstentions?
No.
One no. So noted. Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to Innovation Performance Asset Management Technology Committee, chaired by Councilwoman Gross.
Bill 349, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant payable in favor of Insight Software, LLC, for one-time auditing and accounting technology services for an amount not to exceed $5,499.90 over 1 year.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 349, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilman Mosley.
Bill 350, resolution amending Resolution 662 of 2024, entitled Resolution Authorizing the Mayor and the Director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an NFL draft funding agreement or agreements with the Greater Pittsburgh Convention and Visitors Bureau, Inc., doing business as Visit Pittsburgh, for the coordination of municipal, governmental, and other services required for the 2026 NFL Draft. Cost not to exceed $1 million over 3 years, plus the value of various in-kind city services, to provide authorization for an amendment granting receipt by the city for an amount not to exceed $2 million from Visit Pittsburgh for reimbursement of certain expenses incurred by the city as a result of the 2026 NFL Draft.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Councilmember Warwick.
So just to, this is us getting money or us giving money? Sorry, is there someone who could speak to this one? Okay. So yeah, because we already gave $1 million to the draft, so are we getting that money back?
So we're getting $2 million now. So yeah, we had a previous agreement with Visit Pittsburgh to provide $1 million for the draft. And now under the Commonwealth of PA's 2026 Marquee Events Program, we're receiving $2 million in grant funding to be used for draft expenses.
So just so I'm clear, so are we getting our $1 million back, or are we just spending an additional $2 million that is grant money instead of our own money?
I guess it's either, so we paid $1 million up front already, and now we're getting $2 million. So
that we can use just put in our general fund?
For draft related expenses.
Is it reimbursed?
Yeah, it's reimbursable expenses. So a lot of that will be overtime.
On the draft?
Yes, on the draft.
Okay, so, but we're not getting our 1 million back. This is just more money being spent on the draft. It's just a grant. I get it.
Yes.
I think I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought we were, well, first I thought we were paying more money.
No,
like, wait
no.
a minute. But okay, so it's still, we've paid $1 million, but we're also getting some funding from the state.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you, I appreciate it, because, yeah, the title of the bill is kind of like a long run-on sentence, so I just want to make sure we clarify what's being provided and what's being received. So you said that there is 2 million. You said we will be getting 2 million.
Correct.
But you also said it's only for reimbursed. It's like, do we have to itemize reimbursed expenditures?
Yes, we do. So
Is one of those the $1 million check we wrote to the draft?
Honestly, I would have to get clarification on.
Would you? That would be
Yes,
lovely, actually.
yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it was a little curious that we were writing a check to, the entities that are kind of receiving the revenue and receiving the grants. And we're told, like in other cities, there was no such check from the city to the NFL committee or something like that. So, if we're, spending another $2 million in kind, what is in the language of grants, right? If we have $2 million of kind of extra expenditures that we wouldn't have had the draft not happened, but then we get reimbursed for them, we're still, as to Councilman Warwick's point, I think, negative $1 million. Or not. So
I will get that information.
yeah,
for you.
that'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, from what I understand, and just from being on the SEA board dealing with Visit Pittsburgh, and I actually wanted something in writing. I don't think we ever got anything in writing, but this is to cover our overtime costs for whether it's police, EMS. It's state money that was allocated to Visit Pittsburgh, and Visit Pittsburgh is to reimburse us.
It can be for more than overtime, though, too.
Okay, right. So expenses.
But I think that, overtime will be
I think it's mostly
primary.
overtime.
Yeah, right.
Because most of the other stuff is going to be in-kind services, I think. And the $1 million that we committed under the Gainey administration, that's out the window. That's already gone. Whether you want to say we're getting $1 million, it's neither here nor
Right,
there.
yeah,
That $1 million has been dedicated and processed and is in the hands of whoever is spending it. This $2 million was specifically from the state, and they ordered or asked Jared Bachner to reimburse us for mostly overtime expenses, from what I understood. And that's a guesstimation as to what our overtime is going to cost for the 3 or 4 day, really 4, maybe even 5 day period. So that's the way I understood it, and that's the way it sounds to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, and I think we pay up front and we get reimbursed, so that money's not coming to us right away.
Right, that's correct.
So our officers will get paid their overtime, we will get reimbursed up to $2 million.
Yes.
And if it's more than that, we go talk to the state.
Right.
And
And
we,
like I said, if the overtime does come in under $2 million and
yeah, we could use it.
yeah, for other
utilize
items,
it for
yes,
other things, yeah,
correct.
which I'm sure will be incurring a lot more expenses, whether it be in kind or not. So yeah, so we have up to $2 million. If our overtime exceeds that, we'll have to go back and talk to the state and Jared
Right.
about funding it, because they said they would make us whole.
Okay.
I will tell you multiple times to me. So that's just a
Good to know.
guesstimation as to
Okay.
what we're paying, but. Right. Okay, thanks.
Thank
Rita.
you.
Further discussion? I did have a question. So it's my understanding also that there's going to be overtime is for sure the main category that will be cost for us during the draft, but P cards will also be given and used during the draft because it's just the easiest, quickest way
Yes.
for those who are working the draft in security or public works, whatever, to be able to buy food, take care of their needs. Will that be, if we don't reach the $2 million limit by overtime, will those be eligible for reimbursement?
They should be, yes.
Even though it's a P card and it's sort of like approved, it's paid ahead of time and it's already spent, that will
Yeah,
be
I don't see
reimbursed
why
in that
not.
way. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Council member Warwick, second round.
Yeah, just so, and presumably if costs exceed 2 million, there won't be any additional funding coming in.
I honestly do not know about that. I haven't had any discussions with anybody if that scenario does happen, but it sounds like Councilman Coghill has, so I would have to get further clarification on that as well. But we've there is a running tally of expected overtime and expenses for the draft, and I believe right now we're at about $1.8 million. So fingers crossed we won't go over that $2 million.
Okay, and I mean, I suppose this feels like maybe something for the controller to look at after the fact, but just be good to know how much an event of this scale costs, just to kind of know for the future, because it's great to get these things coming to the city, but then also just to understand the impact, and we'll have this as a case study moving forward.
Further discussion? Oh, sorry. Councilwoman Gross.
Yeah, to that point, and Director Rice, you might not be the right person to answer this question, but the really big, obvious buckets of revenue don't come to the city. And so, members of the public are observing this, right? So the hotel tax, we don't see a penny.
Right.
The liquor tax, we don't see a penny.
Correct.
So, sure, there are kind of indirect effects, you would hope, but what parts of those do come to the city treasury, to the general fund?
I would have to get back to you on that, but I'm assuming that there will be extra sales tax collected, and that's what our RAD funding is.
Also does not come to the city.
So but it goes,
We don't collect the RAD tax directly. We are reliant on the tax board the next year
Yes,
to
that
do
is-
both
that
the
is correct,
statutory
yes.
allocations and then the grant awards.
Yes.
So I'm not even sure that would increase like the parts that are RAD parks. Maybe that would be a really, because at least half of that whole countywide pot goes directly to things like the lower income municipalities for their operating funds, not to the city of Pittsburgh. It's not on that list, right? And then you have smaller and smaller pieces of the pie for statutory assets like our RAD parks or something like that. But so, yeah, which is split partly with libraries, for example, right? It's a statutory asset. And then there's a significant portion that's held for just like the grants that the RAD board can just allocate to anything countywide, county parks or something like that. So Yeah, that's not a direct fund. That is definitely not direct money to the city, the sales tax. So, are there any? So exactly. So we know that some of the parking garages that do pay parking tax, right, have increased the rates from, $20 an hour to, I don't know, $1,000 a day or something like that. This is anecdotal. I'm just knowing, seeing what I'm seeing in the newspaper reports. So at the city, which department collects the parking tax?
Finance.
So, yeah. I do know that I thought I saw Jennifer Gula over there.
She was also raising her hand in case you wanted her to come up.
Would you like to come to the table? Because I think that's really important to know. We also do have, some business tax that if someone adds a part-time employee, again, might trickle down at the end of the year or something like that. I'm just going to talk off the top of my head. So introduce yourself for us.
I mean, we could potentially see slight increases.
Jennifer Gula.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's the middle of the day. It catches me off guard. Jennifer Gula, Department of Finance Director. We could potentially see raises in the local service tax, which is your annual $52 a year if someone gets added to someone's payroll. We could see potential increases to payroll expense tax, which is a tax placed on a company's payroll for those people that are doing business in the city. We could see a bump in parking tax revenue. Obviously, it's no secret. There's a lot of local parking lots that are absolutely raising. I think the casino they're raising theirs to $250 or more.
That's a good example. How do we know what they're charging? In any given year, like today, before the draft, how do you know what parking garages they're charging? And then, so how do you compute how much parking tax they should have paid us?
Actually, a lot of them post that online. So we're able to go, and a lot of parking lots have moved to managing their lots using tech instead of actual individuals operating. Mm-hmm. So they post those things in all these parking apps. So those are things that can be
collecting the rates that you see?
Yes.
Amazing.
And
amazing.
I mean, not to mention the school district themselves as well is renting out space in other lots. I mean, that was public information. They put it out there.
And they'll be paying parking tax as well, whereas usually they do not.
No, actually they do. There is a lot in Oakland. So they do already pay parking tax revenue.
Okay, so you'll be looking to see if there's more lots being leased by the hour.
Yep.
Because again, if you're not leasing it out to public, then you're not paying parking tax. But if you are leasing it out to the public, then you are.
Yes.
And then what those rates are, and so you're kind of doing the sleuthing out the groundwork. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. So at least that's one pot.
Yes.
Where we might see.
The only other place would be in fee revenue. There's vendor permits and things of that nature that PLI obviously and DOMI are issuing for some of the vendors that are here or taking up storefronts and are also going to be occupying, vendor trucks in the right of way around the actual venue area. So those things, then we're able to actually use that data and cross-reference it with people that are registered and have paid. And if they owe tax, then we can go after them that way.
Do you have any expectation that the revenue from those 4 or so buckets that you mentioned would surpass $1 million?
I don't honestly think so.
I don't
especially
either.
With parking, because obviously there might be areas where we lose spaces. And so so it might be a wash.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting to see how it all actually shakes out.
That's distressing. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So you're confirming, and what council is saying is for the public to know that there is no financial boon for the city of Pittsburgh here. If we have our expenses covered at the end, that's great. At the same time, we do recognize regionally, restaurants, hotels, you name it. Obviously, we welcome that commerce coming here.
I think something like this tends to have a longer term impact than the actual something that
Yeah,
happens
no doubt.
over the course of 4
Right,
days.
right.
So if it brings attention to the city and we show them that we could put on a good party, it may end up translating later to some other events that
Sure.
might be
Yeah, it's hard to put a
bigger
number. Yeah,
financially.
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But just for the public, and as what Councilwoman Gross and others were saying, I think some people are under the impression, oh, the city's getting millions and millions and millions of dollars, which
No.
in reality might cost us $1 million or so dollars. And to go back to visit Pittsburgh, they were awarded $10 million from the state of Pennsylvania. And it was like twisting arms, but we got them to commit $2 million of that 10 to us for overtime expenses. And we also have at least a verbal agreement that if we go over that they are to visit Pittsburgh because they're the recipients of the state funding, and the state elected officials, Jay Costa, Wayne Fontana, they all had this conversation with them. So they are to recover any costs that go over that designated $2 million. So just kind of wanted to clarify that. But yeah, so we'll be lucky if it doesn't cost us anything, if we could get out of the draft neutral revenue for the city's coffers, then that's as good as I think we can do. Limited amount of income, payroll tax, things of that nature. But yeah, so but $1 million we know we already spent off the top, has been committed. It's already gone.
correct.
Right. Okay. Well, hopefully, what little revenues we make will make up that $1 million, and we get covered the overtime, and we break even, and all the restaurants and hotels are happy, and we get the image out there of the city of Pittsburgh to the rest of the world, and that's really the true goal. So we're not looking for a financial, but we're not looking for financial restitution from the NFL or anything. We're doing it for the exposure mostly. But I just want the public to know, as we were all talking here, that there's no financial income for the city of Pittsburgh by holding the draft, other than exposure, which we can't put a price tag on, and I understand that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilwoman Salanetro.
I just had a question for Acting Director.
Sure.
You said we're anticipating 1.8 million that we've already spent. Is that already spent, or is that
No, it's not already.
anticipated spending?
That's anticipated.
Okay.
So as far as
Okay.
overtime.
You said, when you said you were up to 1.8 million, I thought
I caught that too.
I thought maybe you meant, and I thought you had $200,000 wiggle room
No.
for overtime, and I was thinking that's
No,
not
no, no.
much.
Not even here yet.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that, but that's it
So,
for me.
no, good question.
That's it for me.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 350, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Thank you very much. Bill 351.
Resolution authorizing the acceptance of a deed by the City of Pittsburgh for a parcel of real property from Pittsburgh Regional Transit for the purpose of dedicating property as public park space to be incorporated into Brookline Memorial Park at no cost to the city.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 351, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 352.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh to access HACP's land for tree planting and trail establishment at a city cost not to exceed $1 for the duration of the project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 352, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 353.
Resolution approving execution of a contract for disposition by sale of land between the URA of Pittsburgh and Gaia Space LLC or a related entity for the sale of Block 50F, lots 147 and 148, 10th Ward of the city, Rosetta Street, District 9, no cost to the city.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Bill 353, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. That exhausts our standing committee's agenda. We do have meeting announcements. Next week, council will hold their regular meeting on Tuesday, April 28th at 10 a.m. The standing committee's meeting will be held on Wednesday, April 29th at 10 a.m. To register to speak at these meetings, please fill out the sign-up form on the City Council meeting webpage. by the deadlines. You may also call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. Is there anything from members? Councilman Mosley.
Yeah, I'd like to motion for a post agenda on flash crowd disturbances, also known as teen takeovers and flash mobs.
Second.
Second discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We will schedule the post agenda. Anything else from members? Seeing none, I will take a motion to approve the minutes and adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.